How does a modern aircraft fly a short morning route, speak to the ground, try to land, and then minutes later, 5 people are gone, without a clear answer on what exactly went wrong? Now listen carefully. The most disturbing part is this. There was a warning sign just minutes before the final descent. If you like calm, audio-only case stories with clear timelines and real investigation angles, subscribe now and turn on notifications. It helps more people stay aware. This case takes place in 2026 in India, in Maharashtra, near a small regional airstrip used for private and training flights. It is not a commercial airport with heavy traffic. It is the kind of place where mornings are quiet. On board the aircraft were 5 people: a public leader, a high-profile state politician traveling for public meetings, pilot and co-pilot responsible for the flight, security officer assigned for protection, and crew member handling passenger support. By mid-morning, all 5 had lost their lives, and the country demanded one question: how? Picture the start of that morning. The aircraft is prepared for a short hop, a routine charter flight, not a long international journey. Short route, familiar region. The people boarding are moving fast because schedules are tight. Meetings are planned, convoys are waiting at the destination. Phones are buzzing with last-minute updates. The public leader boards with a calm face, not because there is no pressure, but because pressure is normal in that life. The pilot and co-pilot settle in. They have done this many times before: short sectors, quick descents, limited time on the ground. The aircraft departs from a major city airport in Maharashtra, heading inland toward the smaller airstrip. For a while, everything is normal. Crews, small talk, checklists, a routine descent plan. But as they get closer, the mood shifts. Because this airstrip is different from a big airport. It does not offer the same kind of landing support, and weather in the morning can change faster than people expect. Now listen carefully. At some point on the approach, the crew contacts the local ground facility. They ask about conditions, they ask about visibility, they ask about the runway, and then the first major sign appears. The crew reports something simple but heavy. The runway is not in sight. Think about this. A runway is not a suggestion. It is the only safe ending to the flight. So the crew makes a decision. They do not force it. They do what trained crews are expected to do. They abort the landing attempt. The aircraft climbs back up to reposition. For the people inside, that moment can feel strange. Passengers usually don't hear every detail, but they feel the change, the sudden power, the lift, the extra minutes in the air. Some might think, okay, small delay. Some might think, why can't we land? Some might not think anything at all because they trust the cockpit. The aircraft circles to line up again, and then comes the second attempt. The crew continues communication. They update position. They keep trying to get visual confirmation. Finally, the crew reports the runway is in sight. Clearance to land is given. And then, silence. No normal landing, no taxiing, no engine cool down at the destination. Instead, within moments, the airstrip sees a crash site in flames, and the day changes forever. Within minutes, the area is sealed. Local responders arrive. And because this is a high-profile case, multiple agencies step in. The investigation begins with categories of evidence. CCTV footage from nearby cameras, including airstrip-adjacent sources, air traffic communications records, flight tracking data from aviation logs, witness statements from people nearby who saw the final approach, wreckage examination by technical teams, weather reports from official sources in the region, and crucially, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, often called the black box. Now listen carefully. This is the key point. Aviation investigations are not built on rumors. They are built on reconstruction. Investigators ask, What did the aircraft do? What did the pilots see? What did they believe was happening? What did the weather actually look like? What support did the airstrip have, and what did it not have? Witnesses describe the aircraft approaching low. Some say it looked unstable near the end. Others describe a sudden shift just before impact. But witness accounts are emotional. Video and recorded data are colder, and colder evidence is usually more accurate. The case is officially treated as an accident inquiry while the technical investigation continues. Here's the turning point. At first, many people assume a simple explanation. Bad luck, sudden problem, nothing could be done. But the timeline reveals something different, because there was a warning sign. The crew said the runway was not in sight during the first attempt. That is not a minor detail. That is the whole story in one sentence. It raises a contradiction. If visibility was a problem minutes earlier, what changed so fast that the runway suddenly became in sight on the second attempt? And that leads to deeper questions. This airstrip is not a fully equipped commercial airport. It may not offer the same kind of navigation aids. It may not have on-site detailed weather reporting like major airports. And in a situation where visual reference is weak, small misjudgments become massive. Then another confusing detail appears in early reporting. Some sources disagree on whether there were 5 or 6 people connected to the flight. Officials state 5 occupants. But inconsistent reporting creates noise, and noise creates suspicion. Think about this. In a high-profile incident, even small reporting gaps become fuel. But investigators don't chase fuel, they chase facts. The core fact remains: 5 occupants, 1 final descent, no survivors, and a short window where conditions and decisions intersected. As of now, this case remains open under investigation. There is no courtroom conclusion yet, no final report that settles everything, no single statement that ends public debate. The responsible path is simple. Wait for the technical findings. Wait for what the recorded data confirms. Wait for official conclusions on contributing factors, whether weather, runway limitations, human decisions, or mechanical issues played a role. Until then, the only honest outcome is this: a powerful person and 4 others lost their lives in a sudden aviation incident, and the exact chain of causes is still being reconstructed. Now listen carefully. Here's the real lesson. Serious tragedies are often not one big mistake. They are a chain of pressure, schedule, weather, limitations, and small decisions made in seconds. And if you're a listener who travels often, especially in small aircraft or regional airports, remember this: not every runway is equal. Not every airport has the same support. And in low visibility, patience is not weakness, it is safety. If you want, comment below. Do you think the biggest risk in such flights is weather, infrastructure, or human pressure to stay on schedule? This story is shared for awareness and educational purposes based on public reports.